Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Talking About Rock, sponsored by a School of Rock, North Buffalo, where they're making tomorrow's musicians today. Also, our shows are available on all streaming platforms, Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, Amazon, and many others, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can continue to bring you great interviews. Today, we start a brand new segment here on Talking About Rock. Every month, we'll bring you a new guest co-host on to chat with us. This week, we will have the lead vocalist from Lost Circus in Nashville to chat with us about local clubs and venues out there. Next on Talking About Rock. All right, let's please welcome to the show our first guest co-host, Steve Libby from Lost Circus. Hey, Steve,
Hello.
how are you, man?
Oh, excellent. How you doing, bud?
Great. So you've been playing around Nashville area for a while. I mean, you got Lost Circus going on out there now, but you had some other stuff going on back in the day, too. You had a Maiden band, you had a Dio band. You were a busy guy.
It was busy. I was trying to get back into it. I moved down here in Nashville in '97 to pursue my songwriting career, and I got into the country aspect of it, and I did that for a long time. Got jaded and gave it up, and my wife was like, "Something's missing. You're not the happy Steve you used to be."
Right. You were getting your music fix, and Nashville was used to be just known. It was just a country town. It was a country city, but that's not the case. Within the last couple of years, there's all kinds of stuff going out there, and that's why we wanted to bring you on today. We want to talk about that, what's happening in Nashville, what's happening with the clubs. I get asked that all the time. I get emails all the time. What clubs are out there? What's cool to see? What clubs could we maybe hit up? They maybe want to, have our band play there or something like that. All the time, people are wondering about that. What's happened there? I know a lot of folks have moved out there. Billy Sheehan moved out there a while back. And some other folks, they don't really come to mind right now, but I know a couple other folks have moved out there as well because there was just a big surge of music going on.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them. Mark Slaughter lives here, I think, still, and some of the Motley Crue guys live here. And,
oh, that's right. Yeah, I heard. Yeah, one of the Motley Crue guys was living there too. Yeah, I heard about that. So I wanted to talk to you about some of the venues. So we want to give people a little idea of what's happening there. You've seen some of these clubs. You played in some of these clubs. Some of these clubs are closing down, unfortunately, too. Right. But let's talk about some of the bigger places first. So the one that seems to be kind of big right now, and some of the bigger names have played, is Brooklyn Bowl.
Yeah.
Seems to be a pretty cool venue out there. I think there might be Brooklyn Bowls in other areas. I'm not sure. But the one out there seems to be a pretty cool venue. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, the history of it that I know from just talking to some of the people that work there, as they said, the original one, of course, is in Brooklyn, New York, and they've got another one, I think, in Vegas. Maybe I could be saying that wrong, but I think one in Vegas, another here, and they're trying to open them up everywhere. It's a great venue. The stage is great. I mean, Accept was set up, and we set up in front of them. It was a little cramped.
Right, you guys opened for Accept out there. Yeah. What was that, last month? Was that?
Yeah, it was about 3 weeks ago.
Well, 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
And we had plenty of room. The sound in the room, we heard, usually the opening bands don't sound as good as the the mainline bands or the headliners. Not that it could even approach Accept, but they said that our sound was really good, from the people that we talked to after the show.
Now does that seem to be pretty much the venue that more the pro higher acts would usually choose if they would come to town if they can't play something else?
You mean as a place to play in that?
Yeah, right.
Let's see, there's that, and there's Marathon Music Works, which does, I believe, I'm not an expert in any of these venues, but from going to see shows, I saw Anthrax at the Marathon Music Works, and that seems to be a place where a lot of the big names play, depending on multiple genres.
Right. Some of the other places you have out there, you have the Ryman, you have the Hard Rock Cafe out there, and the East Bowl.
Yeah, the East Bowl is basically the same thing as the Brooklyn Bowl, the same idea, bowling and live music.
Right. I was checking that out. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that was really, like, when you say Brooklyn Bowl, it's like you don't realize just by the name that it's also a bowling venue too.
Right, sure. Good food too. We ate there at the Brooklyn Bowl. It's really good food and there's a lot of space. It's well done. They do a really good job. You know, it's high end, you know. And the Ryman, of course, everybody plays there. Comedians, you know, heavy metal, country, whatever it is, they all play there.
So that's more of a mix there for all kinds of different acts.
Yep. Absolutely.
Very cool. So you get a little bit of everything out there. Awesome.
Yep.
So some of the other clubs that kind of come up on the radar a little bit more lately, and I see a lot of acts going through. The Basement East seems to be a pretty big club for music out there for rock. Seems like always someone's coming to the Basement East or something set up for that. That seems to be a real popular place.
It is. Because it's got great sound too. I mean, it's not like a big place to go eat or anything like that, but they have, you know, a bar and plenty of room. The stage is great, a little backstage, and Stripers played there. We saw, I think Hailstones. We saw Bisto Blanco there a couple of years ago, and everybody, a lot of the bigger acts have played there. I mean, it's just,
now, is that where you guys were playing back? I think you were doing a Maiden tribute band way back in the day. Is that where you played at Basement East, or was that another club?
No, we played at the Hard Rock, and we played just about every other smaller venue in Nashville at one and surrounding area one time or another. But at the Basement East was the Rare Hair.
The Rare Hair shows. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's such a cool thing too, right? You get so many different people doing that. You never know who's going to show up, right?
Yeah. I was there a couple of years ago, and Mark Slaughter was there. He did like 3 songs.
Just out of the blue. He was just was he sitting like in the audience? He just like, oh, come on up, right?
Yeah, he mingled a little bit. They stay out, you know, in the back a little bit, but you don't expect, you know, legends like that to come out. You know,
Right. I know. I think one time Richie Faulkner was at one of the clubs too. Was that Basement or was that somewhere else?
I think it was there. I wasn't there. I know he popped up and played with Sad Wings, which is a Judas Priest tribute band that were friends with us. They opened at the Hard Rock when we played there with the Maiden show, and Richie lives in town, and he stopped in, got up on stage and played 3 songs with them. It was great.
See, that's so cool. That's so amazing. You're not sure who could be hanging out in the shadows all of a sudden. No. Judas Priest guitar player wants to jump on stage, or Billy Sheehan, you know, jumps on with the Rare Hair thing sometimes, right? Yeah, comes out there for that.
Just about every year, I think he's there for that. I think he's going to be there again this year. So,
very cool. Yep. So some of the other clubs you have there, and correct me if I'm wrong, but some of them may be closing down here. The Mercy Lounge and the Exit Inn, are both of those still going? Or I think the Exit Inn is said they were closing, right?
Yeah, I think they just announced something within the past few days that the lease was finally up and it was not renewed, and they had raised hundreds of thousands of dollars on a GoFundMe thing to try to keep it open, to try to pay off the big corporations. I don't know anything about it, so this is all, you know, just from sitting in the back watching.
Right, just rumors that have been swirling around the area, right?
Yeah, but they put out a statement saying that they were going to donate it all to charity, so that's a good thing.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing.
But
that seems to be a super popular venue there too. Lots of folks have played there. That's got to have a lot of history there as well.
It does. Everybody's played there. I mean, anybody. I think I might be wrong, but I think the Doors have played there. I think I saw the name on the wall when I was
back in the day.
I went to see Jeff Tate play a couple of years ago.
Was he there at the Exit Inn?
Yeah, he played there. It was the last show before the shutdown there in 2020, and we got the meet and greet afterwards. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know. I think this is going to be our last show for a while." So that was weird. A little bit of history there, but it's going to close down. It's one of the places everybody wants to play and get a picture with the Exit Inn behind them.
Right. Historical place. Like you said, lots of folks have played there through the years and things. So it's got a rich history. Yeah. And everybody in the area's got to be really, really bummed about that closing down. We had a venue here that closed a couple of months back on us in downtown Buffalo, the Trout Music Hall, and all kinds of folks were played there through the years. I mean, Prince played there, and they also had comedians that would play there as well. Jay Leno was there. BB King had played there. You know, lots of big names, and then cover bands and stuff. But a lot of history there too. And then they closed it out. Now they're going to build I think a different venue in there at this point, another music venue. But I hate to see that. I hate to lose that history of what's happened at this one club or who's played there. It's like when they change the name, it seems to like wipe that all away, and I hate that.
The history disappears. Yeah, like with the Mercy, that closed down a little while ago, but that was a great place. I saw Striper play there. I've seen 3 or 4 other bands play there. It's a great room.
Yeah, and they're doing an excellent job with the new album, Striper. Speaking of them, they're on the charts with what's going on. Michael was on the show a couple weeks ago, and doing a great job for Striper. It's great that they're back with that album. It's really, really great. Yeah. But yeah, you got so many clubs out there. I'm sure it's really hard to book now with things are changing and management's changing and clubs are getting bought by different businesses and such. It's got to be really hard to book at this point, right?
Yeah, it just depends. You kind of have to know somebody. Not everywhere. I mean, there's some smaller venues that you can play. They're great places to play. I think it's whatever it is, Live Nation. I can't remember who it is. Someone's buying up a lot of stuff, and they go through booking agents.
Yeah, the one club that we didn't put on the list, and folks ask me about all the time, is Bowie's out there.
Oh yeah.
That seems to. I mean, it just came to mind, but that seems to be like kind of well known universally. That's like one of the places they say, how is booking at Bowie's? How is that? How is the Basement East? How is the Brooklyn Bowl? Those are the names that usually come up most of the time when people are asking about different clubs out there.
Yeah.
But
as far as pay to play, I'm not sure which ones. We were asked to join the Accept show, so we didn't have to pay anything to play. But I don't know for sure, and people can correct in the comments or whatever if I'm saying anything. It sounds like I'm lying, but I'm not trying to make stuff. I'm just going by
right. And I don't think people really realize that now. Exactly what you were just saying, like getting an opening slot for a bigger name band isn't easy, and sometimes you have to pay to get that spot unless they reach out to you. I know a lot of times they'll reach out to some of the local bands in the area if they don't have an opener. It just makes it easier, and it makes sense.
Yeah,
just to get somebody on the bill with them. Locally, that's a smart thing to do. I mean, that's what they did back in the day with Talus when Van Halen came to town, and they grabbed Talus and they started touring with them. They really liked them, and obviously, that took off for Billy and stuff. But now I see that every once in a while still happening, depending on what's going on, because obviously, their schedules don't mesh up. Whoever their, opening act is, maybe they're heading off on their tour, going somewhere else. So they got other bookings and other things going on. So they're like, oh, we'll grab somebody locally or something. And I really like when they do that. I think that's great when they reach out to the local acts.
Yeah. I know Black Label Society, Zach was up in, it was somewhere in Clarksville. I can't remember the exact place, but me and my wife went there. We had the meet and greet, and he's just unbelievable. It's inexpensive. You get so much swag and stuff, and he hugs you and all that stuff. But the band that opened up it was a local band. I think they said they paid, I don't know what it was. They paid a little bit to do the opening, but of course it wasn't anything to do with Black Label Society. It was the guy that booked the venue.
It was the management, right? Yeah. And the promoters, right?
But they did so well in merch sales. I mean, we did too at the Accept show. We did really well in the merchandise part. So
excellent. Yeah, I've seen the numbers go up in merch in a lot of different shows for sure. Most notably, Wasp didn't have merch at a lot of their shows ever, kind of getting called out on that.
Yeah.
But I did see that. But Black Label had a lot of merch, and of course, I was really bummed. Unfortunately, I went to see them in Rochester, and they had to cancel the show because the venue had an issue with the stage that got damaged. Now I don't know if it's damaged by Hatebreed or before Hatebreed, but after Hatebreed they called the show. So I was really bummed not being able to see Zach, but hopefully next time around. I know he's got Pantera coming up, and that's going to be excellent. Maybe I'll try to catch him on that. But I love Black Label Society stuff, and I'm sure he'll be around again. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you, for folks that aren't aware, you are a huge Megadeth fan.
Yep, I are.
You've met Dave a few times, and I'm sure you've gone to more than your fair share of shows in the day. Can you tell us maybe what's one of your latest new collectibles you have from Megadeth? I'm sure you have something new you probably got fairly recently,
Well,
or you went to a show or something. I know you got something there. I can see your wall of stuff, and it's probably 60 to 70% Megadeth, I'm assuming, back there too.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I've got all the lines signed. The newest thing I got was a friend of mine, Chad from Lost Circus, gave me a David Ellison pick.
Oh, nice.
I wish he was still in the band. I wish all that crap never happened. I still follow all of his stuff with the Lucid and some of the other 68 other bands that he's in.
Yeah. He was making some statements online in the last couple of weeks. He had some choice words to say, but
But I don't have anything recent. I mean, I bought every version of the CD that's available. I've got the Japanese version because what's money, my wife says. That's the Japanese version. It's shiny. And then I had to get the Target version because the lenticular cover.
Okay.
And I had to get the Walmart version because it had a different lenticular cover.
Yep.
And the normal one, which I framed because it was signed.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm a little ridiculous when it comes to Megadeth stuff.
So Dave Mustaine, you got a hardcore fan here. I'm sure he knows your face at this point since you met him like what, at least two or three times, right?
3 times 3 times where I actually got to say so. This last concert was kind of messed up because of it was the first concert I got to go to since I went at the Clash of the Titans tour with Alpine Chains and opened it up for them, which that was great. That was 93. And I've been trying every year to go see Megadeth. So whatever happened, whatever circumstance, I never got to. So finally, this last show in Nashville, I got to go. So it's been 30-something years. I've been trying to see, Mustaine. It's always something like, he had the cancer, which
right.
But Ozzy canceled on him, and so he had to cancel. The Scorpions, they canceled when he was touring with them. It was just one thing right after another. So finally, I got to see him. Like we got to do the meet and greet, but it was a hands-off meet and greet. So they had everybody roped off, and then
yeah, that's what they're doing now with pretty much most of the bands. And a lot of the pictures I see, they'll be up on the stage sometimes, and you'll be like, a couple feet away in front of them or something like that, or there'll be an object between you two where they're taking the picture, and the object is the distancing for social distancing and stuff. But
and that's the way it was when I saw Jeff Tate. I've got the thing here somewhere. March 12th, 2020, and then it's me and my wife standing in front of the guys, and they're in the background like this.
Right. They're just a couple feet away, but they're in the picture. Yeah. That's what a lot of the bands are doing now. Some of them were just canceling their meet and greets altogether for a while. They just said we're just not going to do them. A lot of the shows I went to, they had canceled a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, if you're not on a big label and you're not getting paid, the only way you make money is merch and meet and greets. I mean, some of the meet and greets are a little ridiculous. One of my favorite all-time bands in the world is Night Ranger. I saw them 20 times back in the day because they were with somebody all the time. Like Great White. I've seen Great White probably 10 times because they opened for everybody.
Yes, they did. Yep.
So they're coming to Nashville. They're coming to the Ryman. I just saw Night Ranger last year at the Dixon County Fair, and it was freezing cold, terrible crowd. I just got to walk up to the stage and watch them, which was great. This year they offered meet and greets. I've always wanted to meet, Kelly Key, Jack Blaze, Brad Gillis, and them.
Yeah, I don't. Is Jack Blade still playing with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, $340 for the meet and greet, included seats.
So that's not crazy.
No, but I had, I wanted to go with my wife and my son.
Right. So each person would be,
because it cost me $1,000. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can pay easily $1,000 for and more for a meet and greet.
Oh yeah.
For one of the
Zach Wild was $100.
Zach Wild was that wasn't recently.
Yeah, it was when 2 years ago.
2 years, yeah. Now I think it would be a lot more for that nowadays. Yeah, most of them are charged. I know most of the bigger stars are charging like $1,000 or more, depending. Stuff people like, I think like Stephen Piercy or Firehouse or Slaughter, you can get in for a couple $100 usually, but the bigger guys usually you're charging a lot more. Like you said, they're trying to make their money, and they're trying to make their money at the merch table.
Yeah, I don't begrudge them at all trying to make money that way.
Right.
I wanted it cheaper so I could go.
Right. Oh, I hear you. I know.
I mean, I could, but I can't give $1,000 to go.
Right. You've done your duty. You've seen them numerous times.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a lot of their albums.
Oh yeah, I've got all their albums. Yeah, I know almost every word. Yeah. Something about it. Kelly Key's got the greatest songwriting mind as far as melodies go. One of the greatest to me, anyway.
Yeah, and you brought up Great White. I saw Jack Russell's Great White a couple of months back. It's been quite a while now, but he was still sounded great. Obviously, he's not in the best of health and the best of shape,
right?
But he sounded really good. You know, all the songs sounded great. You know, it was an excellent show. I think Kip Winger opened the show.
Yep.
And he did an acoustic set, and he sounded really good too. I was very pleasantly surprised with that show, for sure, because sometimes you're not sure what you're going to get.
Yeah, he sang on everything back in the day, Kip Winger.
Yeah,
like background. I think he did the background vocals on a bunch of Dawkins stuff. I don't know. You hear stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he did.
But yeah, he sounded great. Yeah, Great White was really good. I was pleasantly surprised. That was really good. Some of the other shows that I've been to lately, you know, not so great, not so much, but
yeah,
some of them are getting to the point where it's like, yeah, you should probably be done with this type of thing. But obviously none of them are making any money anymore on sales, so they gotta do what they need to do, right?
Yeah, because you can't make money like you used to. When I came down here to do the country thing, if these are just, I'm just throwing out numbers. If you were to get a cut on the radio and it went #1, you could basically be set for life. Back in the day.
Back in the day when radio ruled. Yeah.
Figured out a way to take all the money away as far as plays. You could make money if you had a song on the album that didn't ever get radio play. You could still make money, but people can buy whatever song they want now. They don't have to buy the 9th song on the on the CD or whatever. So it's different, you know.
Yeah, and all this, I know all the streaming is tracked, but it's just so piddly an amount that goes back to the artist. It's just utterly, it's almost like self-defeating at this point, because none of the record companies really cared about that back in the day when all this started to change, right? And now they're not getting any sales. Now what are they doing now? I'm sure a lot of them are going to be, you know, closing up. You've seen these new little small labels come out, or these different labels, you know, grabbing these older acts and older bands. They got, you know, Frontier Music. They have tons of different acts signed. Golden Robot Records, you know, signing a lot of these different bands, making super groups and things. Still trying to put out stuff, but they just really. The bigger record companies just, I think, killed it when all this stuff started happening with MP3s and streaming, and they just didn't get it. It was going to happen. You weren't going to stop it, right?
Right. Especially when they tried to stop the illegal downloading stuff, you know, that kind of pushed everything over the edge.
Right. Well, yeah. I'm thinking if they would have took over right away when they saw that, right? When they saw they said this, spin this good, right? Make this an opportunity, not a problem. Yeah. Right. So people want to do this. Let's do it for a reasonable amount of money, you know?
Yep.
I think even back in the day, when Steve Jobs was wanted to start iTunes, he would approach tons and tons of, you know, labels and said, you guys got to sell your music for like $1. Yeah. Everybody will buy it then. It'll work. And they're like, no. And guess what? It's happening anyways.
I know, it's crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, crazy. So what else is going on with you? Things going on with Lost Circus? Any updates for them going on out there? What's happening? Look, I got my Lost Circus merch. Look, it finally arrived in Buffalo.
Yeah, and we've had a little bit. Well, everybody's had issues with shipping lately, I guess.
Oh, definitely. Tell me about it.
But so I apologize. It took so long to get there. But as far as Lost Circus, we've started writing some more material. So we've been getting together at least once a week to write. We're trying to book a crap load of shows for next year because we got our the trademark. Everything, we're 100% legal. We can do whatever we want now. So
I saw you guys posted the trademark info. Yep, I saw that. That's great.
Opens up a few more doors for us, and We just
Right.
need to get out there. I mean, I
You
know
can really concentrate on your name and your merch and
Right.
branding. Yep.
and playing out. We need to play because we hadn't been playing. And but we've got all 5 of us have demanding, daytime jobs too. So we've been trying to. We'll get there next year. Next year's gonna be big for us. It's gonna be good.
Excellent. Yeah, I look forward to the new stuff coming out. I really like the debut album, obviously.
Thank you.
Great stuff on there. Cool videos. That was awesome.
Those were fun.
Jerry said he had a great time when he was out there checking out, the videos and stuff. And I really look forward to see what you guys got coming out. Maybe one day we can get something going on and you guys can come out here and play something. That would be very cool.
Yep.
Very cool to do. I know people would really dig what you guys got going on. There's so much happening in Nashville, but I guess you guys got some clubs closing. Things are changing here all the time.
Yeah.
In Buffalo as well. But obviously with COVID being about done, knock on wood, and all the plans for next year happening, hopefully it's going to be a really, really good summer next year with lots of shows. I know different bands are already booking the major bands. We hear about the Thru and Def Leppard getting ready for their second jaunt at this. I don't know how that's going to be, but everybody wants to see John 5. That's going to be cool with that. So that's going to be interesting. Foreigner just announced their farewell tour. I think that's definitely probably time for that with Loverboy. I think Scorpions are going on another leg. Kiss is going on another leg coming up.
I want to see the Scorpions.
Yeah, right.
Never got to.
Oh yeah, just an amazing band, and they still sound great, right? I
new
wanted to see
album,
them at the residency in Vegas, and I didn't get a chance to see that. So hopefully they'll come around somewhere in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, their new album's really good.
Right? I know.
They'll come to Nashville.
I was just at the first song that came out. I was just it was like Rock Believer. I'm like, yep, you got him, man. You got me right there.
Yeah, that's good. Kind of reminds you of the old Blackout days.
Exactly. And Priest is putting together a new album, so they probably got one more tour left in them.
Yeah.
Waiting to see all the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff. I think it's coming out on HBO this weekend. Did you get the book? I started reading a little bit of it.
I haven't read it, but I got the signed one.
Nice. You got the official.
God himself actually touched this book.
The official Rob Halford Metal God signature.
Yeah.
That is outstanding, my friend. That is outstanding.
Yeah, I've got a lot of favorite bands. Of course, Megadeth's my favorite, but I've got many influence, singing influence. Rob Halford's right up there, Jeff Tate, and
oh, I know. Those were 2 huge guys for me. I would just like sell my soul if I could sing like either one of those guys back in the day.
Yeah. I tried. It was rough. You take songs like, so we were learning some. Lost Circus was learning some cover tunes just to have a couple in our back pocket, and we did.
Sure.
I used to be able to sing the crap out of AC/DC and anything off the Back in Black album. So we did Back in Black. I can do it, but I can't breathe after. It's rough. A lot of stuff I can still do, but I don't know how his voice kind of got ruined there.
Yeah, it's not like it was. I have high hopes that we will get at least one more AC/DC tour.
Yeah.
Whether who will be singing with them, that's up for debate. But I'm really hoping we get one more tour from AC/DC.
I hope
that's done well. That kind of seems like they're kind of hinting at that. There's been a lot of different social media posts and things kind of hinting maybe something's coming up in 2023. I'm really hoping that's the case.
Yeah, I've never seen them as many times. I grew up in Maine. As many times as they came up to Portland and Bangor, Maine, I never got to see them. I was so mad.
Oh my gosh.
They came up there once or twice a year, every year throughout the 80s,
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah. Just amazing. I've talked to some people that roadies for them, and just the sweat that would come off of Angus.
Mm-hmm.
Like on his guitars, they would have to like change his guitars so many times, like during the shows, because the sweat would like start to break down. The finish and the things on the guitar, and he couldn't play. They'd have to swap it out. You know, same thing with the amps and stuff. They would always have tons of spare amps just in case, you know, something happened. But yeah, they're pretty excellent to see back in the day. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm kind of leaning towards that they're going to bring Axl back out, but
Probably, yeah.
but you never know. You never know what will happen. I mean, I'd love to see Brian do it. You know, if he can't though, I would kind of rather have them go out on a good note than not like a note where you're seeing like a Motley Crue where, you know, certain members can't pull it off anymore, and it kind of kills it for you a little bit.
Yeah.
But
I just got his book too.
What's that?
I just got his book too. I can't remember where I put it. I got a bunch of books.
Oh, from
Brian Johnson's new book.
Brian Johnson's. Yeah, I saw that was coming out. Yeah, I was debating about getting the Rob Halford book. I started reading a little bit of it, and I'm like, oh, I have 2 other books I'm trying to finish first. So I'm like, okay, that'll probably be one of my next ones that I pick up and get and see and check out. But yeah, the other books I really like the Dio book. That was really good.
Yeah, I hadn't read that one.
I really like the Ozzy book. That was good. And I started reading the Iron Man, the Tony Iommi book. That was good too. But yeah, lots of cool stuff happening. Yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for checking in with us, giving us some insight in what goes on in Nashville, some of the clubs out there, some of the places to check out. You know, unfortunately, you guys are losing Exodin. That really stinks. Hopefully, there's still
so many other. There's some other places out there, smaller places too, like the Cobra in the end, and then there's some smaller, really tiny places like Sweetwater. A lot of people like to play there, and place in Murfreesboro, just down south of us, about 40 minutes south of us, called the Borough. People play there all the time. We've played there a bunch of times in bands I've been in. So there's places to play, and it just depends on how big of a room you want to play to.
Right.
25 people or 1,500, depending on.
Yeah, it's got to be usually worth the trek, right? It's got to be worth the trip. If it doesn't pay for your trip and give you a couple bucks, it's usually not worth it. But
yeah. I mean, it's fun to travel and play, but if you don't at least make gas money and hotel money,
right, you got to at least get covered. Exactly with that. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a little different now that I'm 50 something. How old am I?
Right. Before you're just like, yeah, let's go. I don't care. Yeah. Right.
20 years old. We played in a place called the Excalibur in New Hampshire back in, I don't know, it was 89 or 90. Right whenever Extreme first came out, before they made it really, really big.
Probably like 82, 83, I think, because they hit big. I think it was 84, I think.
Was it? Okay, so it must have been
like early 80s sometimes.
Okay, it was after that then, because I graduated high school in 87. But maybe they were already big. But anyway, they played like 3 doors down from us. A band we were doing like a 4-hour cover gig. We had four dates. We just said, screw it, we're going to do it. We packed up a van and we drove down there, just us, and they put us in a couple rooms and we played. It was dead. We didn't, one night we had a crowd, a bunch of bikers came in at like 11 o'clock. But the other 4 days, it was like, what's going on? And the whole 4 days, Extreme was playing the club, 3 or 4 spaces down. So they took all of the fans we would have had. I mean,
right. Yep. That's what happens. Yeah, we kind of see some of that here too, right? Because there'll be like 2 or 3 shows in the area depending on what's happening. Everybody plays on the weekend, so if it's a bigger show or a bigger draw, or if there's a big name in town at the local arena, that's definitely going to kill your draw. A lot of the folks, they'll do like an after show event, like after the arena shows, they'll have like a tribute band or a cover band or something. They'll do songs from that different artist. That makes sense a lot of times. But yeah, you always get that there's a couple shows going on at the same time, and you got to kind of pick and choose what's happening. But you got so many clubs out there. I hope that keeps going for a while, and I hope it doesn't get swallowed up by the big corporations, and then I'll end up paying I have to pay a lot more to see different artists, and it's going to go to the pay to play thing, and I think that's going to kill it. I hope that doesn't happen out there.
Yeah, I don't think it'll survive here. If we have to pay to play and then sell tickets to make our money back,
right,
you should go by. You got to pay your dues one way or another. You got to play and you got to build a following.
Yeah. Well, you guys are definitely doing that, man. Lost Circus is doing great. You guys are doing great on the streaming services. I really look forward to the next album. If you ever want to wet my whistle with a couple tracks, feel free. That would be great.
So hopefully the first of next year, we're going to go back in the studio and start laying down some stuff. So we're in the writing phase right now, writing and planning, which seems like that's what we've been doing for 2 years.
You guys are definitely good planners, man. You always got something cool around the corner. So excellent. So Steve, again, man, thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with us.
Anytime.
I appreciate it, man, giving us the scoop on Nashville, giving us a little scoop on what's happening with Lost Circus. So, all right, man, we will chat with you soon. Thank you so much.
All right. See you, Rob.
All right. If you folks out there want to know more about us, you have questions or comments, please feel free to email us at talkingaboutrock@gmail.com. You can like us and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And for this interview, the video will be on YouTube, and also the audio will be dropping to all the streaming services. All right, Steve, man. Thanks so much, dude. Have a good night.
Thanks.